Hello everybody, welcome to the video. My channel name is College Football Frenzy, and today I'm going to be talking about the USC Trojans 2020 football schedule. The Trojans last year had a record of 8-5. They went 8-4 during the regular season, and they lost their bowl game against Iowa in a blowout. This upcoming season, the Trojans should be a pretty good football team overall. They have a lot of experienced talent coming back. They're ranked pretty highly in the ESPN FBI in the top 15, and just a lot of, older talent that looks good. But also, the Trojans do not have much new talent coming in. They have one of the worst recruiting classes in all of college football somehow, even though they're Southern California. Clay Helton managed to just bring in an absolutely terrible recruiting class. There's some good things about them for this upcoming season. There's some bad things about them for this upcoming season. I will say they have one of the hardest schedules in all of college football. I'm going to break that down in just a sec, but please make sure to like and subscribe first, guys, and I'm going to get started right away here. Number 1, Alabama. So as I said earlier, USC is not bringing in much new or younger talent. Alabama sure is. They have a top 5 recruiting class, a very good recruiting class, and on top of that, they have plenty of weapons. The wide receiver core like Devonta Smith. The defense with Dylan Moses coming back should be pretty good, and they're going to have Najee Harris in the backfield again. So they're going to be very talented. Bryce Young or Mac Jones, whoever gets a start for week 1, should be pretty good. I know Slovis is a good quarterback, but I think Alabama is going to pull away in this one. I think they win by about maybe 14 and 21 points. It might start out as a close game like I did a few years ago when these two played, but I think over time, Alabama will widen that gap in the second half. New Mexico, that's an easy one. They'll win this one here. At Stanford, this is definitely not a guarantee. Stanford, despite their record, had a really tough schedule last season, so I think they were a little bit better than people thought. But this upcoming year, I think the Cardinals should be an okay team. We'll see how they do. I'm taking USC, but I think this can be a tough place to play, and it definitely could be a place where they slip up. I think it'll be close. I'm taking the Trojans, though. Arizona State. I personally think I honestly think that's a loss, in my opinion. Listen, Arizona State's going to be pretty good next year. Herm Edwards is returning as coach. They should be pretty talented. Their quarterback from last year is coming back. I believe his name's Jaden Daniels. So overall, I think Arizona State's going to be a pretty good football team. They beat Oregon last year, so they have high hopes. They probably should be a preseason top 25 team, and they're my sleeper pick to win the South. So it's in the Coliseum, I understand that, but I'm picking Arizona State. So USC starts out 2-2. Next game at Utah. Utah's losing a lot of key pieces. I think their defense is going to be weaker. I think their run game is going to be weaker. That's what kind of carried them last season. I don't think they'll be a top 25 team. I have SC winning this one. So 3-2 now. 6, California. California was just okay last year. I don't think they'll be any better this upcoming season. Should be an easy one for SC. They'll be California here. At Arizona, one of the weaker teams in the Pac-12. This should be manageable. Shouldn't be much trouble here. It is an away game, but I think USC can handle its business here. So overall, before you get into the bye week, they start out overall, it's a pretty good record. You look at it, it's 5-2, and I think that's pretty good for the Trojans, considering they have the second hardest schedule in all of the FBS. So it's a pretty good start in my opinion. Next, you got Colorado, easy win there. Colorado might be improving this upcoming season, but still, they're definitely not on USC's level, so I'll take USC here. So now you're 6-2, only one loss in the conference. That's pretty good. Oregon is going to be a loss. It's in Autzen. It's a very tough place to play. Very loud, frustrating place. And on top of that, Oregon just has a great recruiting class coming in. USC doesn't. They're going to have a great defense this upcoming season. Probably the best in the Pac-12. Great offense. As long as Tyler Shaw is just okay, or just, pretty good, they should be fine. Losing Herbert hurts them, but they're still going to have plenty of weapons, a great defense, and a great offensive line with Penei Sewell. So Oregon should be a very good football team next season. Like take the Ducks here. Washington, this could be a, I feel like this could be a tough one for USC. I feel like this is a 50-50 ball game. USC last year lost to Washington, but it was in Washington. This upcoming season, you look at Washington, they're losing Jacob Eason and they're losing Coach Chris Peterson. He's a Hall of Fame head coach in my opinion. So they're losing two, big assets of that team last year. But still, they're going to have one of the best recruiting classes in all of the Pac-12, and that's going to help them. So I think this is close. It definitely helps that's in the Coliseum, but it's a 50-50 ball game in my opinion. At UCLA, their first big rival on the list, I think they beat UCLA no problem. They're just, Chip Kelly, he was a great coach at Oregon, but he's having trouble at UCLA right now. So I'll take USC to win this one. Notre Dame. All right, listen, Notre Dame, I feel like it's going to be a pretty good football team next year. Ian Book's going to be returning. I understand Chase Claypool and, Cole Kmet are leaving, but still, they're going to have Ian Book. I think that's going to help a lot. He's going to be experienced. So I really think that Notre Dame's going to win this football game. It's in the Coliseum. USC usually plays Notre Dame pretty well in the Coliseum, but I have the Fighting Irish winning a close one. So overall, I have them at either 7-5 or 8-4. That could very well be 8-4. But you just look at their schedule. It's the second hardest in all of college football, and they don't have much young talent coming in. I understand they have plenty of experienced talent, but that schedule is not easy. I mean, I feel like Alabama, Oregon, and Notre Dame are already three pretty much guaranteed losses. And then you have on top of that, there's a good chance they either lose to Arizona State or Washington, or maybe they get upset somewhere. So that's why I put 7-5. It could very well be 8-4 again, but it's just a tough schedule for the Trojans. I mean, they just really this year, they should take it game by game, but I just don't think they're going to be good enough to, get through the schedule. I definitely don't think they'll be a playoff contender. If I'm a USC fan, I'm probably not very excited for this upcoming season. You got great returning talent, but it's just such a hard schedule, and you don't have that much young talent. So I have them at 7-5. But it could very well be 8-4. It could also be 9-3 if they win a big one. But I have them at 7-5 right now. I'm just being realistic. And the coaching staff at USC with Clay Helton, I don't think it's stellar or anything like that. I think it's just average. So we'll see how they do. I would take 7-5 though if I'm a USC fan. Eventually it'll be their time again to be a big Pac-12, big Pac-12, big team. And maybe eventually in a few years, they'll get back to being a playoff contender. They were a playoff contender a few years ago, but they've dropped off a little bit. But maybe in a few years, they'll be just where they were a couple years ago again. But that's it for now, guys. Thank you for joining in. Please make sure to like and subscribe and comment what you think, how you think USC will do next season.